But my topic is the formula for success. And before we get started, I want to just tell you a little bit about myself. I'm a former, Wall Street guy. I was with Kidder Peabody, I was with Lehman Brothers, and I converted over to become a professor. So I'm a transplant, if you will. I love teaching. To me, it's my road to happy. It's what it's all about for me. But as a Wall Street guy, I believe that my motto is learn, earn, and return. So when I was on Wall Street, I created this sit-up-a-thon. And the sit-up-a-thon was to raise money for terminally ill children, for the Make-A-Wish Foundation. And every dime we raised went to the kids. So that's the reason for the sit-ups. First year I did 5,000, second year I did 10,000, third year 15, then the 20,000. And every dime went to the children, and that's what it was all about. But I am basically a bifurcated individual. I'm a little bit business, I'm a little bit fitness. And so I speak on fitness quite often, and I speak obviously on business a lot. At the Paul Mirage School of Business, where I am, I teach 2 courses. One is strategy, and the other is entrepreneurship, which is why we're here at the Cove. So my business skills kind of converted. I'll tell you how it happened. It was kind of an interesting story. So when I'm on Wall Street, I did this fitness thing. My phone started ringing off the hook. I got a chance to speak to so many people about fitness and setting your goals and so on and so forth that just one thing led to another. I spoke to athletes individually. I've spoken to the New York Knicks. You know, people wanted to know, how did you do that? How did you make that happen? So today's topic is the formula for success, how to be successful. And I call it the road to happy, okay? And I wanted to kind of start out with, let's say, a couple pictures. We can start, because remember that song, Every Picture Tells a Story? So let's start with a picture, okay? I wanted to start out with my 2 greatest assets. That's a joke. I don't own a plane, I don't own a boat. The truth of the matter is my 2 greatest assets are coming up. There they are. They're my 2 boys, Christopher and Jason. It's my heart and soul right there. Christopher and Jason are both college graduates, and they're both very successful entrepreneurs. And I see them there standing there with their mom, my ex-wife, who I'm very, very friendly with, and she's absolutely fabulous, by the way. And we've been divorced forever. So she had remarried and got married to a wonderful guy named Eddie. And so when I wrote my book last year called The Formula for Success, showing you how to get it together mentally, physically, and spiritually, I dedicated the book to not only my 2 boys, but also to Cindy and Eddie, because they were part of my kids' lives. So that is just a brief situation. So I always say, ask for the order. So if you see me driving around town, that's my car. I went into AAA one day and I said, by the way, I know you have vanity plates. I said, would you have SIT UPS? They go, typed it in. It's available. I'm thinking 40 million people here in California. How is that available? Anyway, so that is my story. I am the sit-up guy, okay? Fairly recently, I was contacted by NBC to be on the next American Ninja Warrior. And I'm thinking, this is a layup. Take the old guy, no problem. The dinosaur, if he can run the course and make it, that'll be fabulous. We went back and forth. Casting called me. They said, redo your video. Do it this way, do it this way. Never heard from them again. And I tried everything. I sent them a little picture. I said, I will be the next Ninja Warrior. It didn't work. I didn't get the ticket. They gave me the opportunity to be on the walk-on line, and that was a nightmare, a true nightmare. Anyway, I want to start with today with talking about 2 stories that really kind of affected my life. I started out, I'm a New York City guy, worked on Wall Street, as I said. I was in charge of international finance, so I was in charge of everything in London, Paris, Geneva, Zurich, Hong Kong, and Tokyo. So I traveled quite a bit. And, my whole life has been just really dedicated to kind of giving it back. And so when my life started, for me, it started in high school, and you probably can identify with this. This is just amazing. I went to high school in New York City, took the bus into New York City, 2 subways, got out at Yankee Stadium, walked the rest of the way. Never missed a day of high school. And the first semester as a freshman, after your first marking period, they posted your name, your grade point average, and your rank. And they had you listed by rank. There's 225 kids in my class. So everybody kind of goes up to the board. They're looking for their name. I'm looking for mine. And number 2, no. Number 5, no. Boom! I found me. I was number 164. I was bummed. And I said to myself, I wonder why this is. You know, obviously that's what I earned, but I wanted to break the code. And I realized that everybody in my class had about the same IQ. So that wasn't it. And then I realized it was 2 issues. It was attitude and it was effort. And I studied and I studied and I studied. And one thing led to another, and I kept raising my grade point average and so on and so forth. And when I graduated that high school, I graduated 7th in my class. And I gotta tell you, I was no smarter when I was 7 than when I was number 164. And so I tell that story, I've been telling that story now for 25 years on stage. It's a true story, and it's really how I was shaped. The next story I'm about to tell you, I've never told before. My 2 boys don't even know this story. So also in high school, they had a contest for who was the most physically fit in high school. Now, I'm in the yearbook on the still rings and all this kind of thing, and they had an event where there was 10 different events, almost like a decathlon. And if you won 2 or 3 of them, you had a shot for winning the overall trophy. Now, I went to a high school in New York City where there was about 1,000 guys. It was an all-boys school, private prep school, and I really wanted this trophy, more than I can tell you. And I ended up winning 7 of the 10 events. You know, like the pull-ups, you know, the biggest number was like 11, I did 28, that kind of thing. So I had won 7 of the different events. So I am like pumped, I'm like, this is gonna be my day. Then they had the General Assembly in the school, and I'm in the corner, and I remember it like it was yesterday. I was in the corner of the school gym by the mats, and they were about to announce the person that won the most physically fit in the high school. And right when they were about to announce the name, 5 of my friends jumped me, you know, high school boys, so that I wouldn't be able to walk up and get the trophy. And so he gets up on the stage, and it turns out what comes out of his mouth is another kid's name. And I was like, you know, it's like a deer in headlights. I was in shock. Honest to God, I was in shock. And it was one of those events that just absolutely turned me around that day. All my friends thought I was really, really cool because I was really cool about it, but I was really in shock. That was really the truth of it. And the reason I'm telling you this story is because what I want you to know, it's not so much what happens to you, it's how you react to it. So a month or 2 goes by, and one of the students comes up to me and he says, Bill, you know, I'm really sorry you didn't win that trophy. That was really, really sad. It was really wrong, and so on and so forth. And he said to me, he said, I think I know why you didn't win it. I said, what do you think it was? And he said, well, Patrick, the kid who won it, that's all I remember, his first name. When it came out, I was like, he said, it turns out that the person that's giving the trophy is the gym teacher. And he's actually dating Patrick's mother. I was like, oh, Lord, that's amazing. Learning politics very, very early on. Very early on. Control what you can control and don't worry about what you can't control. One of the biggest issues is when something happens to you like that, you have to almost let it go and release it, okay? That is really what it's all about. Letting it go, just releasing it. Once you take it in and you rent space in your head, negative thoughts, you're screwed. Only rent space in your head for positive affirmations, positive people. That goes for your friends, it goes for everything, okay? I've been speaking to kids now for over 30 years, showing them how to get it together mentally, physically, and spiritually. And it's very much like a three-legged stool. If one of them isn't there, you're out of balance. So how do you get those three things in coordination? Well, it starts with the road to happy. Find your happy spot, and then build it from there. But what I wanted to talk about was the mental part, how to get it together up here. And so people come to me all the time and they say, Bill, this is where I am. I'm depressed. Or, is that all there is to life? Or I'm doing well. You're somewhere on this meter. Somewhere. And they'll come to me and they'll say, I need to kind of move it up. How do I do it? Okay? So for me, it's really a leap of faith. Make the jump. There's a formula to this. It's really a formula. So the mental part, if you can think of it where there's 4 cornerstones for the mental part. The first one is time management. The second one is goal setting. The third one is how to deal with setbacks. And the fourth one is what I call PMA, or positive mental attitude. How do you actually get that PMA? Just speaking about PMA, I remember when I went from 5,000 to 10,000 sit-ups, I had a guy come up to me after I had, when I made the announcement that I was going to do 10,000 the next year. And he said to me, he says, Bill, you crazy? You're going to double it? And he injected a negative thought into my head. That lasted for about 24 hours. I kept doubting myself. I said, what is this about? What is this about? Can I do this? Can I do this? And I said, well, this guy doesn't know me. He doesn't know how I train, how I eat, how I sleep. He knows nothing about me. It's only a few thousand more. What's the big deal? But somebody will put a negative thought in your head, and do not rent space out to negative thoughts. Okay? So let's start with the other cornerstone, which is time management. What I do is I actually break down my time between spending and investing. You need them both. Spending is basically, just going out and having fun. It could be, mountain biking, it could be kayaking, it could be anything like that. Investing is where you're pushing yourself toward the goals that you have set for yourself. Okay? The other part that I wanted to talk about was goal setting. To me, this is really critical. Oftentimes when I'm in front of a big audience, I say, just a show of hands, how many people have dreams? And everybody's kind of raising their hands. And the first words out of my mouth are, dreams are BS. And what I mean by that is this. Dreams and goals are identical, except for one major thing. Goals have target dates for completion. You have to write them down. I was with my students just yesterday, and I said to them, if you don't write them down, they're really meaningless. I said to a young lady who I know she's got a boyfriend, I said, if your boyfriend came to you and he said, you've got 2 choices. He says, I can call you up and go, ooh, baby, baby, love you, love you, love you, love you. Or he can write her a love song, give it to her, and sing it to her. Which one would you think she would choose? It's not a trick question. She would choose the love song because it's written down. She'll have it forever. The ooh, baby, baby, they might forget her name in a month. Write your goals down. 95% of the people on the planet don't. And I always say, do you have in your wallet a gold card? And I'm not talking American Express, G-O-L-D. I'm talking G-O-A-L, gold card. I would be willing to bet there's not a person in this room that has one. Well, I've got one. Okay? You have to write your goals down. It's absolutely critical. What I do is when I write my goals down, short-term and long-term, I actually post them on my lamp right next to my bed. So it's the last thing I see when I go to bed, and it's the first thing I see when I wake up in the morning. Now, a lot of people say, Bill, that's kind of goofy, that's stupid, that's, childish. I don't care. I don't listen to that. It's not important to me. I know that I am laser focused. When I started doing these sit-ups, I didn't just drop down and do 5,000 the first year. I went into my chairman, Al Gordon at Kidder Peabody, and I said, Al, why don't you give me a buck a sit-up? We talked for about 22 minutes, as I remember. And he never asked me how many I was going to do. And I'm walking out the door, and I said, Al, you never asked me how many I'm going to do. And he goes, oh, yeah, how many are you going to do? I said, 5,000. He goes, oh, great. It was coffee money for him, right? But I didn't just drop and do 5,000. When I was 33, I set a goal for myself that when I was 35, I would be able to do 3,500 consecutive sit-ups. And I'm such a dinosaur. Back in that day, I just put a matchstick down for every 100 that I did. I remember doing it at 4:30 in the morning, going to the gym and doing it. I didn't take any prisoners. I just did what I had to do. So I knew I could do 3,500. So when I said to Al, I'm going to do 5,000, I knew I could do it. And that's all the money we raised the first year was only $5,000. But the people on Wall Street were so generous that year after year after year, we'd raise about $150,000 for the kids every year. And that's really what it was all about. It was all about the kids. Learn, earn, and return. I always say I never lose. I either win or I learn. You know, when dealing with setbacks, it's so critical how you process. You know, people say to me, well, you know, how do you process, Bill? I said, well, it's really easy. I expect to have a setback. I expect to fail. I expect to go down. I'm expecting it. What I do is I actually smile. I know it's coming. And I actually learn from it. A lot of people, when they fail or they don't succeed at something, they quit. Not me. I'm like pumped. I'm like, yeah, this is coming. You know, this is the way it's supposed to be. I learn from it. Somebody asked me in an audience one time, they said, Bill, what's your biggest failure? I said, I don't know. I don't think I've had any yet. I've only had learning experiences. It's all how you process, okay? This is a quote that I make my students memorize. And it says, trust is earned, respect is given, and loyalty is demonstrated. Betrayal of any one of these is to lose all three. Always operate from the heart. Always be truthful. It's absolutely critical. You know, Mother Teresa had it right when she said, we can't do great things in this world. We can only do small things with great love. So that's really what's important. So the goal setting is the cornerstone with the time management, with also the PMA, the positive mental attitude, and how to deal with setbacks is really the other cornerstone. Like I said, I fail 5 or 6 times before I get a hit. I'm okay with it. Don't worry about it, okay? That's the most important thing. And I will leave you with my quote. It's not up there. I don't even think I have it up there. It's not. So it's a very simple quote. It says, although your eyes can see and your ears can hear, go to your heart and soul, who can do neither, and you'll find your true north. God bless you guys. Thank you.